Hare Krishna. Welcome to Shri Upadeśāmṛtam class. Let us begin with Mangalacharan prayers. I will share my screen. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutah Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So let us, I actually should have continued to share. Let us do our recitation of the verses. So we will do it in a lead follow format, even on Zoom. If you would like, please unmute and you can follow along. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam.
Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam.
Bhavegam udaropastha vegam.
Jihvavegam udaropastha vegam.
Tanvegan yo vishaheta dhiraha.
Etan vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha.
Sarvamapi mam prithivim sashishyat.
Sarvamapi mam prithivim sashishyat.
Atyahara prayashascha.
Atyahara prayasascha.
Prajalpo niyamagraha.
Prajalpo niyamagraha.
Jangascha laulyam cha.
Janascha cha.
Bhir bhaktir vinashyati.
Bhaktir vinashyati.
Utsahan nishchayat dhairyat.
Utsahan nishchayat.
Tat karma pravartanat.
Karma pravartanat.
Sangatyagat sato vritteh.
Sangatyagat sato vritteh.
Bhir bhaktir prasidhyati. Tatati pratigrahanati.
Dadati pratigrahanati.
Guhyam akhyati pritchati.
Guhyam akhyate pritchati.
Te bhojayate chaiva.
Bhojayate chaiva.
Vidha priti lakshanam.
Vidha priti lakshanam.
Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta.
Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta.
Shasti chet pranatibhishcha bhajantamisham.
दीक्षार्ति चेत् प्रणतविश्च भजन्तमीशम्
शुश्रूषया भजन विज्ञमनन्यमन्याम्
शुश्रूषया भजन्यमन्य
निन्दादिशून्य हृदमीप्सित संगलब्ध्या
निन्दादिशून्य हृदयम् उपस्थितसङ्गलभ्या
दृष्टैः स्वभावजनितैर्वपुषश्च दोषैर्
दृष्टैः स्वभावजनितैर्विवक्षश्च दोषैः
कृतत्वमिह भक्तजनस्य पश्येत्
न प्राकृतमिह
गङ्गां भसां न खलु बुद्बुदफेन पङ्कैर्
गङ्गां
ब्रह्मद्रवत्वमपगच्छति नीरधर्मैः
ब्रह्माद्रवत्वम् अपगच्छति
स्यात् कृष्ण नाम चरितादिसिताप्य विद्या
नामचरितादिसितापि अविद्या
पित्तोपतप्तरसनस्य न रोचिकानु
रसनस्य
किन्पादरादनुदिनं खलु सैव जुष्टा स्वाद्विक्रमात् भवति तद्गदमूलहन्त्री तन्नाम रूप चरितादिषु कीर्तनानु क्रमेण रसना मनसि नियोज्य
क्रमणेन रसनान मनसाचि नियोज्य
तिष्ठन् व्रजे तदनुरागी जनानुगामी
व्रजेति तदनानु
कालं नयेदखिलमित्युपदेशसारम्
कालं नयेदेति अखिलं उपदेशसारम्
वैकुण्ठाज्जनितो वरा मधुपुरी तत्रापि रासोत्सवात्
वैकुण्ठादिजनितो वरा मधुपुरी तत्रापि रक्षसोत्सवात्
वृन्दारण्यमुदारपाणिरमणात् तत्रापि गोवर्धना
वृन्दावनं मुदरापाणिरमणात् तत्रापि गोवर्धनात्
राधा कुण्डमिहापि गोकुलपते प्रेमामृतः प्लावनात्
कुण्डलं विहापि गोकुलपते
कुर्यादस्य विराजतो गिरितटे सेवां विवेकीनका
कुर्यादतो
गिरितटे
सेवां विवेकी
Okay, now we come to today's verse. कर्मिभ्यः परितो हरिः प्रियतया व्यक्तिं ययुर्ज्ञानिनास्
कर्मिभ्यः परितो
तेभ्यो ज्ञानविमुक्त भक्ति परमा प्रेमैकनिष्ठास्तथा
ज्ञानविमुक्त भक्ति परमा प्रेमैकनिष्ठासि ततः
तेभ्यस्ताः पशुपालपङ्कजदृशस्ताभ्योऽपि साराधिका
तभ्योऽपि साराधिका
तद्वदीयं तदीय सरसी तं नाश्रयेत् कः कृति So that is the verse we will study today. 10th verse. Somebody should mute, please. The Upadeśāmṛtam by Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, called as Nectar of Instruction, with English translations and purports by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charnarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Based on in-depth classes by Shriman Hari Parshad Prabhu. That's his YouTube channel. Please subscribe to it. Listen to the series much deeper. And online Zoom classes are going on. We are on verse number 6. We completed. So 7 will start. So very deep. That's the heart of Krishna Bhakti. Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sukirtana. No. Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapya Vidya. Pittopatapta rasanasya narochikano kintvadaradanu dinam khalu saiva jushta swadvi kramad bhavati tadgada mula hantri. So that's the verse on chanting the holy name. It's the heart of Krishna Bhakti. So we'll be starting that, hopefully, unless he decides to do one more on verse number 6. So if you want to get added to the Zoom calls, let me know. Otherwise, offline you can view on YouTube. Pacific time, 7 a.m. Saturdays. Okay. Highly recommended. Highly recommended. You will not find a more advanced devotee than him. At least I have, in his knowledge of scriptures and in his, Vaishnava Achar as well. Very highly recommended. Today's verse number 10. So now, with a cautionary note, like we discussed last week. These are in-house verses. Remember that? Ghar ki baat. So we did a long discussion on that last week. So please remember that. If you have not remembered, or if you don't remember, that's okay. You can listen to it later. Quick summary is that verse numbers 9, 10, and 11. At the end of verse 8, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Iti Upadeśāmṛtam. So this is the sar of all Upadesh. And a second. Let's check one thing. It is the sar, or the essence of all instructions. So technically at verse number 8, all the instruction ends. There is instruction in 9, 10, and 11 as well. But now comes the deep internal mood of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. The priority, or what is the most important for Gaudiya Vaishnavas may not be highly appreciated 9, 10, and 11 by other sampradayas. So we should keep it within ourselves. No need to go advertise. My house is better than your house. My car is better than your car. My sampradaya is better than your sampradaya. My religion or my holy place is better than your holy place. Mecca is better than Ayodhya. That is when all the bad things happen. You can, if at all, if you are asked, you can say, yes, I love Mecca very much. That's no problem. Let somebody say, I love Mecca very much. I should have the freedom to say, I love Vrindavan very much. So we both can respect each other's view, and we can be, we don't have to hide it completely, but we shouldn't go advertising. If asked, what is your place of reverence, highest reverence? Yes, you can say, for me, it is Vrindavan. You should never say, oh, for you, it is Mecca. Too bad. Next time, next life, better luck next life. That is not the point. Okay. So these are clearly 9, 10, 11 for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. We must relish within ourselves, within our house. Husband and wife can say, see, our child is so sweet. Husband can say to the child, to the wife, because it is within family. Okay. You don't go around saying in the neighborhood, my child is so sweet. Okay. We all say all our children are sweet. So within Gaudiya Vaishnava family, we can relish it, We can glorify. Vrindavan is the highest, Radha Kunda is the highest, Srimati Radharani is the highest. Sri Vaishnava may say that Goddess Lakshmi is the highest. So that is perfectly fine. So this is all within the Sampradaya. With that understanding, let us go and into the details of verse number 10. So once again, the first line is Karm, and this meter is Shardula Vikriditam. We have gone over that topic many times, 19 syllables. In one of the tunes, each meter can be sung in different ways. I have learned it in one way, and in that, mostly in all the tunes, there is a break that comes. Karmibhyah parito hare priyataya, break. Vyaktim yayur jnaninas. So that's how we sing. And it is a symmetric meter, which means all the lines follow the same breakup of the syllables. Some meters are there where first line has certain syllable arrangement, second has certain, third could be different. This is a symmetric one. Anyway, so that one is on the meter. Let us now get into the verse. So in the 9th verse, what was the essence of the 9th verse? Who can tell? The main point of 9th verse. Radha Kund is the highest place. Yes, is the topmost place in the universe. So, and there was a sequence. Who remembers the sequence? Anybody remembers? Vaikuntha, Mathura, very nice. Vrindavan, Govardhan, and Radha Kund. Very nice. So 5 places were mentioned. So similarly, there is a sequence here, and again the supremacy of Radha Kunda is mentioned. So we can say that 9, 10, and 11, all 3 verses are about Radha Kunda, but in different ways. So 9th verse was directly about the places. 10th verse is about the devotees, or the devotees that are affectionate to Lord Shree Krishna. Who is the most affectionate to Lord Shree Krishna? That sequence is described. So any surprise? Who is the most affectionate to Lord Shree Krishna? Srimati Radharani. No surprise there. And then Sri Rupa Goswami says that the affection of Lord Shree Krishna to Sri Radha Kunda is the same as his affection for Srimati Radharani. So therefore, Radha Kund becomes so important because it is attracting the same love of Krishna as Srimati Radharani attracts. So it is so significant, so important, so amazing, so wonderful. So that is the sort of the bottom line of verse number 10. Verse number 11, we will go into, therefore, what should we do? So we should, again, that aspect is also there in all the 3 verses. Kurya dasya virajato giritate sevam viveki nakaha. That is the last line of the previous verse. So which viveki, which intelligent person will not do seva at virajato giritate, that kunda which is sitting at the foot of Govardhan hill, which is Radha Kunda. So doing service at Radha Kunda. Similarly, here it will be said, which intelligent person would not take shelter of Sri Radha Kunda, knowing its such a supreme position that it attracts the same love of Krishna as does Srimati Radharani. Okay, so that is the point. And we will see a sequence of, so Radharani is the topmost. There will be a sequence of devotees that attract Krishna's affection in various levels. So Krishna is not sammoham sarva-bhūteṣu. He says that in Bhagavad Gita. Na dveshto na mama priya. That I'm not, I don't look down on anyone. I don't specially look up to, affectionate to anyone. Sammoham. Sammoham, the way to understand sammoham sarva-bhūteṣu is that like the sun. Sun gives equal heat to everyone, correct? Can you get more heat here in Bethany than in Hillsborough from the sun? No. So how can somebody get less heat from the sun? If you hide beneath a rock, isn't it? If you stay inside a shelter, then you are not getting the full heat of the sun. But can you say that the sun is being partial? No. So we will see what is the difference between the devotee's mood and attitude towards Krishna. Krishna is definitely, so there is no inconsistency in the fact that Krishna is providing his love, it is available to everyone who comes out of the rock, comes out of the, shade, then he can enjoy the sun. The sun is giving freely. We are putting covering in front of our face. So that's our problem, not Krishna's problem. So that is one point. Okay. So we will see a gradation. So let us try to see this verse. Karmibhyah parito hareh priyataya vyaktim yayur jnaninas. So two levels are being described. So one is the karmis, the karmibhyah. This first word karmibhyah is describing the karmis, means that those who are simply doing karma kanda or fruitive activities. Okay. You do your work, you get the result. Dharma, artha, kama, that same logic. Clear? So you do your work, legal work. You can do illegal also. That's not even mentioned here. That doesn't attract Krishna's attention if you are a sinful person. If you are a dharmic person, but you are doing it for your benefit, then you attract affection of Krishna. So better than that. So vyaktim, so you can see maybe I can do, I'm probably going too slow here. Vyaktim yayur, it is said in scriptures. Jnaninas, that the jnanis. Parito means in all respects. Priyataya are dear. Hare to Lord Krishna. Karmibhyah, then all those engaged in karma kanda or fruitive activities. So this process, as we know, is called, what is it called? Of arranging the words. Anvaya.
Anvaya.
Anvaya. Remember all these things. So what we have done is that this Sanskrit has been rearranged. Vyaktim yayur jnaninas parito priyataya hare karmibhyah. But the English is making sense. It is said in scriptures, if you read each one, it will form a complete sentence. It is said in scriptures that the jnanis in all respects are dear to Lord Krishna than all those engaged in karma kanda or fruitive activities. So how many levels have been described in this line? 2 levels. What are those? Karmibhyah or karmis and jnanis. 2 levels done. Okay. So usually in the verses, as I have observed, it is possible to take each line and it usually forms a full sentence. Sometimes you have to take words from other lines. Next line. Tebhyo jnana vimukta bhakti paramah premaika nishtastata. So in this one, again, 2 levels are described. Tebhyo means, so this word you will see, tebhyo or tata. It occurred, didn't occur here. It will occur in the next line also. So tebhyo or tata means better than, or that is the sort of the comparison word. Better than those are bhakti paramah, are the pure devotees. Jnana vimukta, who are free from the pursuit of jnana. So the previous level was the jnanis, isn't it? We said here, it is said in scriptures that the jnanis are better than the karmakandis. So what is the level above jnanis? Bhakti paramaha jnana vimukta. Okay, so jnana vimukta bhakti. We will see this word, or we will use this phrase many times. Jnana vimukta bhakti. Bhakti that is completely isolated, or does not have any inclination for pursuing any kind of jnana. We will go into this little bit deeper in the subsequent slides. but Jnana Mukta Bhakti. Okay. Tatah, better than those, the next level. Now, which level is this going to be? Fourth level. Prema, premaika nishtha. Premaika. So, prema eka nishtha. Only pure, unalloyed devotees who are fixed, nishtha, fixed in pure, unalloyed love or devotion. One-pointed Krishna prema. Okay, so this is a higher level of Jnana Vimukta Bhakti. Following? So what is the first level? Karmi. Second level? Jnani. Third level? Sanskrit. Jnana Vimukta Bhakti. And fourth level? Prema Eka Nishtha. Third line, Tebhyas. Again, that's the comparison word. Tebhyas. So Tebhyas tah Pashupala Pankaja Drishas Tabhyo Pisa Radhika. So you can see two breakups here. Tebhya and Tabhyo. So Tebhya means better than those are those Pashupala Pankaja Drishas. This is the fifth level. Please mute. Pashupala Pankaja Drishas are the gopis. Pashupala, who are what? Maintaining the cows. So there are many elderly gopis who used to maintain the cows. And even the younger gopis used to help their, elder sisters or mothers to maintain the cows. They would go and bring the, all the materials and the hay or the grass and the ropes. Remember when Mother Yashoda was tying Lord Krishna, who brought all the ropes to Mother Yashoda? All the gopis. They were having fun that, finally this boy is learning his lesson. So they were all very happily bringing all the materials. So Pashupala, who are doing palan, who are doing caretaking of the cows. Pankaja Drishas, who are lotus-eyed. Pankaja means lotus, Drisha means eyes, or from which you see Drishas. So you see from the eyes, Pankaja Drishas. And higher than those, Tabhyo, above all, Api, Sa, definitely is Radhika, Srimati Radharani. Okay. Pashupala. So the question is Pashupala a feminine? I don't think so. It is gender neutral in my opinion. As far as I understand, not an opinion. There's no opinion here. I take it back. My understanding, as much as is there, says that it is gender neutral.
How do we know that it's indicating the gopis rather than the gopas? Because the gopas are also tending the cows.
The gopas are also tending the cows. That is true. So the question is, how do we know it is the gopis? So from the simple answer is from the Acharya's commentaries, we know that it is the gopis. Okay, unless there is a gender associated with Pashupala Pankaja Drishas. Yeah, which as far as my knowledge goes, it is gender neutral. Last line. And this, so now 6 levels have been described. Karmi, Jnani, Jnana Vimukta Bhakti, Ekaika Nishtha Bhakti, the gopis of Vraja, and topmost Srimati Radharani. So 6 levels. And then this pond of hers, Iyam Sarasi, Sarasi is pond, Tadiya of hers, Preshtha is very, very dear to Krishna. Tadvad, similarly, just as she is. So in the first 3 lines, it has been described how dear is Srimati Radharani to Krishna. So many levels have been described. And she is the dearmost. And Tadiya Sarasi, her pond, which is Radha Kunda, is as dear to Krishna as she is. So it shows us that how dear Radha Kunda is to Krishna. But Radha Kunda, is Srimati Radharani accessible to us? If you call her name, she might come, but you can definitely in the material world take a plane ticket, then take a bus ticket or whatever taxi and go to Radha Kunda. So the material world manifestation of that object of supreme love of Krishna is available to us. Now, there is Radha Kunda in the spiritual world as well, but definitely there is a very accessible place in this universe called Radha Kunda, which is topmost dear to Krishna. And we are so lucky that we have access to that one place. We do not have direct access to Srimati Radharani. We have access to her name, but her name is no different. So that is also true. But we have access to Radha Kunda also. And therefore we should take shelter. Kaha kriti na ashrayet tam. Which intelligent person would na ashrayet? It's a rhetorical question. Not take shelter of tam, of that Radha Kunda. So go take shelter of that Radha Kunda and obviously chant Radha's name and Krishna's name there. If you are an intelligent or if you are understanding this verse. If there is anybody who is understanding this verse, then you should act on it. If I tell you, go in that backyard, dig, and you will get a treasure, and then you are just, sitting here and, doing nothing, you say, what a fool. I'm telling him the location of the treasure and he's not doing anything about it. Somebody else will listen and he will go and dig it up. But this treasure, everybody can avail. It doesn't get over. So that is the meaning of this verse. So I hope the meaning of the verse is clear at a basic level. So let us read the translation, the plain Anvaya translation, and then we will read Srila Prabhupada's translation. So would somebody like to read here or? Okay, Shyamlila Mataji raised her hand.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
It is said in scriptures that the jnanis in all respects are dear to Lord Krishna than all those engaged in karmakant, fruitive activities. Better than those are the pure devotees who are free from the pursuit of jnana. Better than those are the pure devotees who are fixed in unalloyed, one-pointed Krishna prem. Better than those are those gopis who maintain the cows and who are lotus-eyed. Above all, certainly, is Srimati Radharani. This pond of hers, of Srimati Radharani, is very dear to Krishna. Similarly, just as she is, which fortunate, intelligent devotee would not take shelter of that Sri Radha Kunda?
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank
So you can see that's a very plain, direct word by word translation put in an Anvaya format to make a sentence. Let us read Srila Prabhupada's translation. Somebody in the room can read this time. Let me share the screen. Go ahead. Loudly so people on the microphone can hear.
In the Shastra, it is said that all types of fruitive workers, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. Out of many such people who are advanced in knowledge, jnanis, one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge may take to devotional service. He is superior to the others. However, one who has actually attained prema, pure love of Krishna, is superior to him. The gopis are exalted above all the advanced devotees because they are always totally dependent upon Sri Krishna, the transcendental cowherd boy. Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most dear to Krishna. Her Kunda, lake, is as profoundly dear to Lord Krishna as this most beloved of the gopis. Who then will not reside at Radha Kunda and in a spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings?
Aprakrita bhava.
Aprakrita bhava, rendering loving service to the divine couple Sri Radha Govinda, who perform their Ashtakaliya Leela, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes. Indeed, those who execute devotional service on the banks of Radha Kunda are the most fortunate people in the universe.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So you can see here, all the points of the verse are in the translation, but this translation has many extra points. So this is known as Bhaavartha. It's not a plain vanilla translation. It includes some extra points. And acharyas, not just Srila Prabhupada, many acharyas. So Srila Prabhupada is not taking a departure from the norm. Other acharyas also do the same because they know there will be people who will skip the purport, who will skip the commentary. So the most important parts of the understanding which they don't want you to miss from this verse, they include it in the translation. This mechanism is known as Bhaavartha. So there is nothing wrong in this, like this Ashtakaliya Leela or Aprakrita Bhav are not directly in the Sanskrit. That doesn't make the translation any inaccurate or anything like that. It is part of the Bhaavartha. And that is why Srila Prabhupada is giving the word-by-word translation here, the Sanskrit and the word-by-word. And in the word-by-word, if you are so interested in going into the details of what exactly each word says, it is also there. But the translation is giving little bit more information, little bit more understanding for those people who will skip the purport. So this is known as Bhaavartha. So that's why Srila Prabhupada's translation is little bit longer. Are you clear? So let us go back and continue our discussion. So this is the verse. So there are two main points with 3 bullets, but the first 2 bullets are the main points. Krishna's affection for various devotees in increasing order is mentioned in this verse. So Krishna's affection does increase from devotee to devotee to the extent, or based on the reciprocation or based on the attitude, mood of the devotee. If another devotee is there who will express the same mood, same attitude towards him, then he will be equally disposed to that devotee as well. He will not play favorites or anything at that point. It is purely based on the reciprocation or the attitude of the devotee. And the next important, so this first line of this slide, what I'm showing, is covered in the first 3 lines of the verse. And the second point, how can we possibly access Krishna's affection? How can we access it? By serving Radha Kunda. That is the last line of the verse. So it establishes the topmost superiority of Shri, I should have removed the word Lord, the topmost superiority of Shri Radha Kunda again. So establishes the topmost superiority of Shri Radha Kunda again, just like in the 9th verse. Okay, so that is the purpose. These are the 2 purposes of the verse. Establishing the affection of Lord Krishna in increasing order and the superiority of Shri Radha Kunda. Clear? So once again, Krishna's affection. What is the first one? Who remembers? Karmis, so karmibhyah. Next one is jnanis, so jnanina. Third one is
Jnana Vimukta.
Jnana Vimukta Bhakti. Yes, Jnana Vimukta Bhakti Paramaha. So in the script, in all the commentaries that I have read, the 4 Kumaras are a prime example of this Jnana Vimukta Bhakti. And we will cover the details little bit shortly. Why the 4 Kumaras? Why the 4 Kumaras? Then the next is Premaika Nishtha. Premaika Nishtha. And Narada Muni is the devotee that is given the example here. One-pointed prema for Lord Krishna. And beyond this, so these are the examples. You can see the 4 Kumaras are examples. Narada Muni is an example. Okay. Beyond this, there are no examples. Now we get into specifics. So the highest we can reach is this level. That is the highest level. Beyond this, now there are only specific examples of Pashupala Pankaja Drishas, those gopis who are taking care of the cows. So we cannot achieve that level at all. Hare Krishna. And the topmost is Sri Radhika, Srimati Radhika.
You're saying that we can't attain gopi form?
That's what I have read in the one of the places. We can attain the mood of the gopis, but we cannot become one of the gopis.
That's very different.
Yeah. So I did not say that. So the gopis are very, very, very dear to Krishna. They are in this sequence, they are at the 5th level. So we are not gopi, we are not in our in a material body, but our Siddha Deha is not of a gopi. At least that's not my understanding that anybody here is like that. Okay, so we are not the gopis. We can attain the mood of the gopis. So that is an esoteric point. Even I am not very qualified to kind of have a deeper discussion on that. Okay, and then finally is Srimati Radharani. Okay, so now let us go into some of the details of each of these. So karmibhyah are the, so again, this might be a short Bhagavad Gita lesson, but again, there are a lot of new points. Okay, so I won't be referring much to Bhagavad Gita. I have tried specially to stay away from Bhagavad Gita because we have all of you, as I look around in the Zoom and the room, are very well versed in Bhagavad Gita. So, you know, it becomes, I wanted to include a little more extra points. So everything that is there in Bhagavad Gita very much applies. This is extra stuff, little bit potentially extra stuff. So karma kanda, these are the people who are engaged in karma kanda, fruitive work by legal means. Now by illegal means also, like I said, but they won't be dear to Krishna. This verse is describing those who are dear to Krishna. So even the karmibhyah, karmis are dear to Krishna. So these karmis are pursuing their self-interest. They want to do stuff, get the fruits and enjoy the fruits. They are doing it for the fruit. Are you following? They are doing the actions for the fruit. For pleasure. They are seeking pleasure. And among these, the ones that are dear to Krishna are the ones that are in the mode of goodness. Typically in the mode of passion and definitely in the mode of ignorance, there will be sinful activities or sinful aspects of the karma. In mode of goodness, there is a possibility that one is not committing any sinful activity. Those are the ones that are dear to Krishna. Otherwise, Krishna leaves them to the to Maya Devi to deal with them. Here is the important point. Even though these people are pleasure seeking for their own benefit, still they are dear to Krishna. So Krishna is not dear necessarily to these. He may be, but for even if he is not, he or she is not, still they are dear to Krishna. This shows the magnanimity or the compassion of Krishna towards those who are not dear to him. And indifference to Bhagavan, that indifference is the cause of indulging in karma kanda or these fruitive activities. Because when one is indifferent to Bhagavan, that indifference is the one, because there is always a desire for some kind of satisfaction, for some kind of pleasure, some kind of happiness. If not Krishna's happiness, then our own happiness. So when one is indifferent to Krishna, then automatically one becomes self-centered, or one becomes, one does activities for his own pleasure. So these are the points of karmibhyah. My pleasure is topmost, certainly above Bhagavan's pleasure. Okay. Next, jnanis. The jnanis are the ones who are inclined to. So here we are talking about a specific kind of jnana. Jnana that is devoid of bhakti. This is not bhakti jnana. We will talk about it in the okay. Yeah, we will talk about it in the next one. That even the next one, there is some amount of jnana, but that is bhakti jnana. In this scenario, it is about jnana that is devoid of bhakti, and the highest type of jnana that is devoid of bhakti is the nirvishesha Brahman jnana. So that is the one that is that these jnanis are attracted to. There is no desire for seeking material pleasure. At least those that are seeking Brahma Jnana, this Nirvishesha Brahma Jnana, you have to do a lot of austerity, a lot of detachment. So there is no desire for material pleasure seeking. There is a desire for seeking some level of spiritual pleasure. There could be a tinge of bhakti. Okay, there could be a small tinge of bhakti, but Jnana is predominant. The desire for Jnana, the attraction to Jnana is highly predominant in this stage. Now, some other points. So those were sort of the points about these jnanis. Now, some other sort of ways to understand. This is like more of a understanding that Jnana for devotees. Now, are we all students of Bhagavad Gita? Yes, many of you are doing this is a Bhakti Shastri class. Many of you are doing Bhakti Shastri. So this is all about Jnana. So we can say that, oh, if Jnana is not needed in Bhakti, why are we doing all this study? So Jnana ultimately should be necessary to bring one to the level of Madhyamadhikari from Kanishtha. Now we have had this discussion about Kanishtha, Madhyam and Uttama. I am assuming everybody is familiar with that. After Madhyamadhikari, after one has, again, within that also there are levels. So again, we will not split hair about it. But after becoming a strong Madhyamadhikari, then one should not, a devotee, especially a Gaudiya Vaishnava devotee, should stop the pursuit of Jnana. No more Jnana this should be tried to be acquired. Jnana is so infinite, even a particle of sand can be studied for many lifetimes, let alone the Brahman. And being from Intel, I can say that, we are also, after 50 years of forming Intel, we are still studying sand, isn't it? How to make, smaller and smaller, transistors from silicon. And then we will go into some other form of sand, some photonic transistors, something, my head hurts. Talk to all the, people, all the, thousands of people working, trying to manipulate sand to do something useful. So they have to understand the properties of sand, ultimately silicon. Millions and billions of dollars are being spent. So it is not this statement is actually from one of the purports that a particle of sand can be studied for many lifetimes. And this, I don't remember exactly which commentary I was reading, but definitely semiconductors did not exist when this commentary was written. So definitely when he said a particle of sand can be studied for lifetimes, he was talking, one of the aspects can definitely be all this stuff that we are trying to do. So it is Jnana is infinite, and there is no point in spending all our time in Jnana. Ananda, even when the pursuit of Jnana is there, there is a thirst for some happiness, for some Ananda, for some joy. Ananda is the intrinsic thirst of the soul. It will never be fulfilled by pursuit of Jnana. Jnana leads to the understanding of the Sat and Chit potency. Okay, so therefore, main point is after a certain level of advancement in Gaudiya Vaishnava Bhakti, in that Gaudiya Vaishnava process of Krishna Bhakti, Jnana should be given up. Not given up, one should not become too attached to it. This book, that book, this tattva, that tattva, this, all this, becoming a triple PhD on tattva. So what is needed is that get in touch with an advanced devotee who can guide someone in this transition from jnana into the journey of bhakti rasa. That should be the transition. Sooner or later, that should be made by somebody who has spent enough time in this process of Krishna Bhakti process. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj even gives a time frame. 10 to 15 years you should spend in this and then transition fully. Serious 10 to 15 years, not just by government of India. Okay, you have been on the job, on the payroll for 15 years, automatic promotion. No, not like that. Serious 10 to 15 years, then one should transition into this next level. Next level being Jnana Vimukta Bhakti Paramaha. So giving up Jnana Vimukta, being free of Jnana. So one who is devoid of the inclination of the Nirvishesha Brahman or Jnana, Tattva Jnana. That is the devoid of the propensity to acquire knowledge. There is a lot of thirst. Oh, I will read, about this, about this. Did Jiva fall from the universe, from the spiritual world? When did he fall? Will he fall again? Or so many questions about this and that and all that stuff. Questions which will not really allow one to make progress in one's bhakti. And here is the point. Yet this person possesses Aishwarya Jnana. So this is the point. Aishwarya Jnana is present, which means awareness of Krishna's superiority. He is infinite, I am finite. That is also Jnana. That knowledge or awareness or the acceptance of this fact that Krishna is my Lord. And that is when the attitude of surrender or taking shelter comes into, becomes real or becomes manifest for a devotee. So usually it's a transition process. There is a transition that occurs from former jnanis. And that is very true in the case of the four Kumaras. They were full jnanis, but now they have dedicated themselves fully to bhakti. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that directly in one of his songs. Jnani chhada bhakta tad apeksha Krishna prestha. Means that one who is, first one has jnani chhada. He has left jnana and now he has become dear to Krishna. Tad apeksha Krishna prestha. And also Bhagavad Gita 7.19, very famous verse. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. So then they take shelter of Krishna. After many, many lifetimes, these jnanis, jnanavans. And the example is that of the four Kumaras. So what did we study so far? The karmis. What is the main points of the karmis that we discussed? Let's see. Let's do a quick Simhavalokan. Quick review. Put their pleasure above Lord's pleasure. Very good. And
They want to enjoy the fruits of their
they want to enjoy the fruits of their hard work, legal hard work. And one more important point, yet they are dear to Krishna. Krishna is so kind that even if one is looking away from him, he is looking toward them. Okay. Second level was jnanis. What about them? Couple of points. And on Zoom, you can shout out if you would like. Unmute, shout out, mute. In personal, they are striving for impersonal liberation, and the process is through the acquisition of Nirvishesha Brahman Jnana.
but they don't have any desire for material pleasure.
Yeah, they don't have any material desire for material pleasure. Very nice. Anything else?
They have tinge of bhakti, but not the pure bhakti.
They may have a tinge of bhakti, but jnana predominates. Okay. And then jnana vimukta bhakti, this one. It's on the slide. They have no inclination for acquisition of any kind of jnana that is devoid of bhakti. So that is the main point. They have lost taste for all types of jnana. The only type of jnana they are interested in is bhakti jnana, or knowledge about Krishna. So what kind of knowledge about Krishna? What do you think? What is knowledge about Krishna? Aishwarya Gyan. So next stage. So we will progress into the next stage. So there's another slide on Jnana Vimukta. Are these, let me ask you a question. Are these Shuddha Bhaktas? Can we call them as Shuddha Bhakta? What is known as Shuddha Bhakti? Pure devotee we call. Yes or no? No.
Ananya Sindhya.
We
are not.
Not
If
we
we
are
are
not,
not
but Jnana Vimukta Bhakti Paramaha. The 4 Kumaras, are they Shuddha Bhaktas?
Yes.
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 Yes, if they are doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. Absolutely. So they are definitely doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. Definitely. So these are definitely, this is the starting level of Shuddha Bhakti. Even in Shuddha Bhakti, there are levels. We will see this shortly. There is Shantaras. Then above that is Dasyaras. Above that is Sakhyaras. Above that is Vatsalya, and topmost is Madhurya. So there is levels in that. And all these are the 5 primary rasas. And any devotee in any of these rasas, fully in this rasa, is a Shuddha Bhakta. Definitely is a Shuddha Bhakta. But they have different moods and there are different levels. So when one becomes little more advanced, then the automatic transition happens to what kind of taste Krishna Leela. One is hungry, one is addicted to Krishna Leela for no apparent reason. No apparent reason. He just finds it so tasteful. He runs madly from place to place. Wherever Krishna Katha is spoken by a Rasika, he just runs madly from place to place. There is eagerness to hear Krishna Katha, but not in any kind of jnana. The Krishna Katha also has a lot of jnana. If you read the commentaries of 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam Dasham Skandha is all about Krishna Katha, direct Krishna Katha, isn't it? And if you see the commentaries, there is so much jnana in that, especially because Acharyas knew. All the 3 primary Acharyas who wrote commentaries on Dasham Skandha are Sridhar Swami, Jiva Goswami, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. There is so much jnana embedded in the other day I was showing that verse where Mother Yashoda was churning the butter, the first verse of the 8th chapter. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given so much jnana in that how the devotee is doing the work as well as remembering Krishna at the same time. She was singing the pastimes of Krishna while she was churning the butter. Then the milk starts boiling and then she runs. That's how the story, transitions. But there is so much understanding of tattva, of jnana in that. But one is not interested in jnana. One is always anyway thinking of Krishna. So that is the point, that there is a lot of jnana in those pastimes, but that is not the reason. We would like to read, oh, Mother Yashoda is churning butter. Okay, my mother also used to churn butter. What's the difference? But then when you read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, and then you say, oh my God, there is so much jnana in this. Wow, how you can think of Krishna and do your work at the same time. Wow, such a nice explanation. That is our hunger for jnana. We have converted a rasika pastime into a jnana pastime. Like in the temple, they give a nice halwa or nice preparation. Some people just mix it all together and then they just eat it. You should eat each thing separately, right? But they make it into one big khichdi. So it's like, what are you doing? Sometimes, when devotees are serving, they say, no, this is supposed to be eaten with that. I said, okay, that's how I'm supposed to eat it. So that's how you're supposed to, that's how it is supposed to be tasted. You're not supposed to just mix it all together into one big mountain of khichdi and just, eat it. So we must exercise our jivha vegam, not udar vegam. Udar vegam means just, okay, now I'm full. I was hungry, now I'm full. Jivha vegam means take the relish, the taste of each item. So anyway, we should not do it for the purpose of, even though there is jnana in Krishna Katha, we should not hear it for that purpose. We should hear it for the purpose of relishment. Or these devotees, jnana vimukta bhakti parama devotees, do it for that reason. That is the difference. And the important point is, here is another important, very beautiful point that is brought out by our acharyas. There are no doubts either. No doubts. Everything they accept in Krishna Katha is true. No, but wait a minute, that verse, that tattva was explained, and in this verse, this is coming. How is this related, contradictory? Can you please explain the difference? Or how is, too much analysis happens, and then doubts arise. So, jnana leads to doubts, and then you have to get more jnana to satisfy those doubts. So again, you are all in this intellectual gymnastics. The purpose of Krishna Katha is not that, and these devotees don't receive Krishna Katha as intellectual gymnastics. They receive it as gulab jamun and rasgullas, as just simply to be relished. You don't ask how much sugar, what was the recipe. Your job is to just put it in your mouth and savor it for as long as possible, and not worry about how it was made. Doubts are a huge barrier to bhakti and seva. Doubts are the weakness of the heart. So which means the mind is predominating over the heart. Because so these devotees don't take this Krishna Katha from the mind. They hear it from the heart. If you hear from the mind, it means your heart is weak. It shows the weakness of heart, or it shows the strength of the one's mind over the heart. So one should accept these devotees, jnana vimukta bhakti paramaha, they receive this with heart. Okay. So again, I was going in detail because that is the level we need to get to. I am definitely far from even jnani level. I'm probably at karmi level. Maybe, sometimes even illegal things. Who knows? So, yeah, I got a ticket recently. So at least I was speeding. For some reason, I didn't realize my son's flight was like delayed by how many, like 6-7 hours or something. So it was like 3 a.m. and I was driving, and I was like, I didn't look at the speed, and suddenly there was a cop in the back. So anyway, yeah. So we went into the detail, but if we can reach this stage itself, where we can relish Krishna Katha, develop this strong hankering for Krishna Katha, that is just extremely, extremely high stage for us. We'll go through it quickly now. Prema Eka Nishtha, one who is fixed in unalloyed devotion, and just that's all he's doing, absolutely nothing else. Absolutely nothing else, not even caring for eating or sleeping or any of your bodily functions. Everything else is taken care by Krishna. One is 100%, literally 100% completely in this mood. So that is Prema Eka Nishtha. And Narada Muni is such a person. Always assisting, always doing seva of Krishna. Even when he is doing some, sketchy or so-called questionable activities, also are for seva of Krishna. Like he goes and tells Kamsa, wait a minute, you should, what do you call Krishna for a match? Because to Mathura, that's the only way you can know. You can draw Krishna out. There in Vrindavan, he is in like home territory. So he is always winning against all these powerful demons you are sending. Why don't you call him to your home territory? Kamsa says, very nice. That's a good plan. So it seems like Narada Muni is assisting Kamsa, who is the enemy of Krishna. But the internal reason there is that Narada Muni is like afraid our dear Krishna has forgotten his real reason why he came to, kill the demons. He's just too busy relishing in Vrindavan. So let me get him out. So then he puts this in the mind of Kamsa. Kamsa sends Akruraji, and then Akruraji brings Krishna. So he is assisting Krishna in all the situations. And then finally, there are no more examples. Pashupala Pankaja Drishas. It's describing only the Vraj Gopis. They have indescribable and unprecedented love for Krishna. That's the only way I can describe it. It's indescribable, and therefore it is not possible to describe. And finally, Srimati Radhika, the one and only topmost devotee of Lord Shree Krishna. Unparalleled. No words can describe. No words can describe. So how can I describe? There's another punchline I saw in one of the Acharya's writings. I will share with you. Language falls short. I will share little more, but language falls short. This is just the level of Srimati Radhika Rani. So I just want to share this sort of sequence of events in Sri Brhad Bhagavatamrta. How many of you might have read Brhad Bhagavatamrta? Just the first volume. So it is published by BBT. Gopi Pranadhan Prabhu has done a very nice translation. So anyway, so here Narada Muni is trying to find out who is the topmost devotee. Okay, strikes a familiar note. Who is the topmost devotee? He is trying to find out. So he goes to Prayag. Prayag is Allahabad, or the Triveni Sangam. So on the banks of the river Ganga, there is a Brahmana who is doing karma mishra bhakti. He was doing some yagya, something, some homa yagya for some pious results. Even in that, towards the end, he was doing Nama Sankirtan. So there was a tinge of bhakti even in his karma kanda activity. So karma mishra bhakti. So Narad Muni goes to him first and says, so I'm going to just very quickly, and there's some sweet points in this whole sequence. So I wanted to share this. And so he goes, you are such a nice devotee. So he says, no, it's a very humble devotee. No, I am not a devotee. You should go to King Indradyumna. He is the king of Puri, Jagannath Puri. He is distributing Jagannath Mahaprasad to so many people, directly Jagannath Mahaprasad. I am doing all this sacrifice and all for my benefit. He is doing it he is distributing Jagannath Mahaprasad. So Narad Muni goes to King Indradyumna. He says, wow, you're such a nice devotee. He says, wait. I'm not a nice devotee. I'm just a king of this small piece of land on this small planet Earth. If you want to know, you should go to King Indra. He is the king of Swarga. I am doing this small, Jagannath Prasad distribution. He is doing it on a 10 million scale level than me. He is distributing so much Prasad and he's always singing the glories of Lord Krishna. Yeah, sometimes he has a little, falls into illusion, but 99.99% time, he's such a sweet devotee. You should go to him. So Narad Muni goes to Indra, starts glorifying him. You are the brother of none other than Vamanadev. Remember, Indra and Vamanadev are both sons of Aditi and Kashyapa. You're the brother of Vaman Dev, you are such a great devotee. He said, wait a minute, what are you talking? I have offended the Lord so many times. I have been chastised by the Lord. I am nobody. I have committed so many offenses. If you really want to go, you should go up further, go to Brahmaji. So Brahmaji, he goes there. Brahmaji starts glorifying. That Lord has entrusted you with manifesting this whole universe. He has given you such a big responsibility. You must definitely be the dearest. Who will give this such a big responsibility other if not one is so dear? So he's saying, no, I get a lot of enjoyment out of doing this. When other people in the Vedas, there is a lot of verses which glorify Brahmaji. So I feel very happy when people sing those verses in the Vedas. I feel my senses are pleased when I am glorified. So I am not a highest, topmost devotee. You should go to Lord Shiva. He is completely detached. Even though he is in the spiritual world, he just wears, some skin and, wears a skeleton of skull. He is so detached. I am so attached. I am so mode of passion. I like all this glorification. He is completely detached from this whole thing. He must be the topmost devotee. So he sends him to Lord Shiva on Mount Kailash. And what is Lord Shiva busy doing? Lord Shiva is busy chanting the name of Lord Ram. He was doing Ram Nam Jap. So, Narada Muni goes to Lord Shiva. And then he starts glorifying Lord Shiva. And then Lord Shiva says, wait a minute, what are you doing? I'm just, I'm just doing all these austerities and all these things, but I have no love for the Supreme Lord, who has supreme love, who can always remember the Lord. And the Lord actually comes to protect him. I had to cry out for the Lord to protect. He didn't even call for the Lord. And Lord came to protect. You should go to Prahlad. So you can see here little bit in this sequence, in the brackets I have mentioned here, till Brahmaji, it was Karma Mishra Bhakti. And at Brahmaji's level, it's the highest form of Karma Mishra Bhakti. Bhakti was very much, but there was small, the aspect of karma is decreasing and the bhakti is increasing. But still there was that Karma Mishra Bhakti, little bit karma, maximum, most of it bhakti in Brahmaji. Lord Shiva is Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Complete detachment, no attachment to anything material and all. From Prahlad Maharaj level starts Shuddha Bhakti. Shuddha Bhakti and in Shantaras. Shantaras means Prahlad Maharaj was always, so Shantaras is not something bad at all. Prahlad Maharaj is known as Bhaktaraj Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, we say after the prayers. Bhaktaraj, he is the king of bhaktas, but he is in Shantaras. Shantaras means what? That he is not directly, he is not a das, he is not serving the Lord, he is not a sakhya, he is not vatsalya, he is not madhurya, but he is always strongly in his mind, he is always doing smarana of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is 100% of the time in his thoughts. He didn't even call for Lord. Lord came, he just said, yeah, he's there in the pillar, sure. If you want to check, do it at your own peril. Do it at your own risk. And Hiranyakashipu wanted to check. So that whole story, that whole pastime manifested. He did not call for the protection of the Lord. He was just engaged in smarana of the Lord. So he is the topmost Shuddha Bhakta in Shanta Rasa. So he goes to Prahlad Maharaj, and Prahlad Maharaj, again, going quickly, says, I am of my demoniac family. Why do you think I am the topmost devotee? I don't even do any service to Bhagavan. You should go to Hanumanji. He has done the topmost service. He is the emblem of seva, of service to the Lord. So he goes to the Kim Purusha mountains. That is where Hanumanji is chanting Ramanam. Even till today, it is said he is chanting Ramanam in the Kim Purusha mountains. And he is lamenting in separation from Lord Sri Ram. So he goes to Hanumanji, starts glorifying. You are, who doesn't know about Hanumanji? Hanumanji says, wait. Why are you glorifying me? I have not done anything. I am a half animal. I am from the animal species. I'm not even a full human being. So, animals are considered generally lower than human species. So I'm from the animal species, and see, Lord Ram is not there. All the Ayodhya Vasis are enjoying with Lord Ram in the spiritual Ayodhya. I am sitting here alone, crying in separation from Lord Ram. I definitely must have done something offensive to Lord Ram, which is why I am separated. Like that was his mood, that I am not the highest devotee. He says, if you really want to know, I have heard that my Lord Ram took birth in another avatar as Krishna. I am attached to Lord Ram, but I have heard great things about Krishna avatar. And you should go to the Pandavas. They have received the real mercy of Lord Krishna, more than they have a human body, and they have also done service, and they have received so much reciprocation from Lord Shree Krishna. So he goes to the Pandavas. Pandavas are also lamenting in separation from Krishna. And they say that, so this is Shuddha Bhakti in Sakhyaras. So you can see that rasa is being described in Brihad Bhagavatamrta. Prahlad Maharaj is Shantaras, Hanumanji is Dasyaras, and Pandavas are Sakhyaras. And they are lamenting that, we called for Lord's protection so many times. Isn't it? Draupadi calls for the Lord has to come. All the time we are doing, so many stupid activities. Especially Yudhishthirji says, I was so attached to dharma that I committed stupid activities. I ended up playing the gambling match, because of which all this happened. Then Lord Krishna had to come and fight the war for protecting us. So, and we had to suffer so much. Because of us, the whole world will not worship Lord Krishna, because they will think, what happened to Pandavas? They were such great devotees and they had so much suffering. Why should we worship Krishna? Isn't it? So thinking we are bad examples. We became devotees of Krishna and we set a bad example because we suffered so much, because of our foolishness. So people will think it is because of becoming Krishna's devotee that they suffered. So nobody will become a devotee of Krishna. So we are not good examples. Please, if you really want devotees of Krishna, you should go to the Yadus. They didn't do anything like that, and they also have association of Krishna. They are also in Sakhya Bhava. So he goes there. The Yadus say, you know what? We didn't do any service to Krishna. Yes, we are with him. We are enjoying with him all the time, but we don't do any service for him. Among the Yadus, they also say, go to Pandavas. Wahan to ho liya. Wo to ho gaya, wo to, they sent me. You cannot send me back to them. Okay, fine. Then you go to who is the highest in Sakhya Bhava? Uddhavji says, okay, fine. Then you go to Uddhavji. He is a Yadu, but he has done so much service for Krishna. He's carrying out all the orders of Krishna. Every order that is given, he never refuses. So you go to Uddhavji. So then Narada Muni goes to Uddhavji and starts glorifying him. And when he starts glorifying Uddhavji, Uddhavji is just, saying, why, again, I really thought I was the best devotee. Not only you, even I thought I was a good devotee. Until I visited Vrindavan. And all my pride was washed away when I met the gopis of Vrindavan. In the Vatsalya Bhava, when I met when it is said that when he reached Vrindavan, the first message was to be sent to Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba. So he did not know which house. This is just a colloquial pastime. So he was looking for the house. He did not know. And Vrindavan was morose. The whole Vrindavan was morose because Krishna is not there. So everything is like lifeless. So then one person was roaming, or he saw one person. Can you tell me where is the house? So then he could see a stream of water flowing. This person showed, you see this stream of water? Yes. Follow this stream of water, you will reach their house. Okay. So he started following that stream of water and it went into one house. And he saw that Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj were constantly crying in separation of Krishna. So that stream of water were the tears of Nanda Baba and Yashoda, Mother Yashoda. So then he could realize, and then he took a letter to the gopis. So I'll not go into the whole pastime, but he felt so severely, he saw his smallness, how much he was trying to give them jnana. This is, Krishna is always there with you. He said, all this jnana, you can kindly keep it with yourself. We don't need all this jnana. If you can bring Krishna, then we can talk. Otherwise, thank you. So he saw that extreme love. And finally, he met Srimati Radharani, or he realized the topmost devotee being Srimati Radharani. So this very nicely shows what are some of the aspects of various devotees and what Krishna, what attracts Krishna. What attracts Krishna the most? There is one another pastime that I wanted to share, if time permits. The extreme love of Krishna for Srimati Radharani. The extreme love, and this is mentioned in Sri Gita Govinda, 10th act, 8th verse. It is a composition by Srila Jayadeva Goswami. And so it goes like this. I have practiced it a little bit. Maybe you can help me. Smara garala khandanam mama shirasi mandanam dehi pada pallavam udaram jvalati mai daruno madana kadanalo haratu tadupahita vikaram priye charu shile. So this is Lord Krishna speaking during the rasa dance. Mother Srimati Radharani disappears. This is before when Krishna disappears. The rasa dance is happening and Srimati Radharani goes away. Then Sri Krishna is looking for Srimati Radharani. You remember that? If you have read those chapters. So he gives up the association of all the other gopis and tries to go find Srimati Radharani. So then they both are missing from the rasa dance. And that is when the gopis become sad and then they, So Krishna and Srimati Radha have disappeared, but Krishna is looking for Srimati Radharani. So Sri Jayadeva Goswami, the pastime goes like this. He was composing this. So he wrote that first line before the red color. Smara garala khandanam mama shirasi mandanam. Mama shirasi. Shira means what? Head. Mandanam means headache or pain. So my head, I'm having a big headache. My head is hurting. Why? Because I am separated from Srimati Radharani. That much he is, feeling the separation from Srimati Radharani. And then in his heart, in the heart of Jayadeva Goswami, this thought comes. Dehi pada pallavam udaram. That pada pallavam, the cool touch of your feet, pada. Dehi, give me. Put your foot on my head. Jayadeva Goswami thinks that Krishna is thinking like this. And then I will get some relief. Then he suddenly says, wait a minute. What am I thinking? No. How is it possible that I can compose a verse where Krishna is requesting the foot of Radharani on his own head? That would be such an offensive thing to write, isn't it? So he didn't write it. He says, let me think about it more, some other alternative to the verse. So he goes out, tells his wife, I'm going to take a bath in the river. You keep some prasad ready. Okay. So he goes to take a bath. His wife, her name is Padmavati. So she prepares bhoga, prepares prasad and everything. And then Jayadeva Goswami comes back. So who came back? It's not Jayadeva Goswami, it's Krishna who comes. So first he honors prasad. Literally takes the prasad which his wife has made. She feeds him, he eats. Then while he's eating, can you get me that book where I was writing? So she says, sure. So she gives him the book. I just want to complete one verse. I got a nice thought. I want to write it. So he writes this exact line. Dehi padapallavam udaram. And then he says, okay, I'm done. I'm feeling sleepy. I'll go and sleep. She says, okay. So she keeps the book and he goes in and sleeps. Then guess what happens? Now the real Jayadeva Goswami comes. So then his wife is eating prasadam because, chaste wife, nice wife will eat after husband. So he says, what? You are eating? He didn't get angry, but he was surprised. Like, what happened? Like, how come? Like, he says, what? He says, why are you eating prasadam? He said, because you had it, so I'm eating. And I thought you were sleeping. Why did you go out? He said, I was never sleeping. I just came from the bath. She said, what? You just came here, you had prasad, you wrote the verse, you asked me for the book, and then you went and slept. He thought something fishy. Can you get me the book? So then he sees the book and he sees this verse with this line completed. He feels very happy that now I have direct endorsement of Lord Shree Krishna. He says, you are so fortunate. I am so unfortunate. You got to feed Lord Krishna. You got to serve Lord Krishna. You got to see Lord Krishna. And internally, he also felt happy that his thought of how this verse should be written was validated by Lord Shree Krishna. Definitely, Lord Krishna becomes subservient to Srimati Radharani. He is perfectly okay. Not only he is okay, he wants the foot of Srimati Radharani on his head. Then he goes and composes the rest of the verses. So definitely Lord Shree Krishna considers Radharani as the topmost. So last slide for today, not last, or just why is the position of Radharani so highest, so topmost? Radha means Aradhana. Aradhana means worship via sacrifice. So she sacrificed everything for Lord Shree Krishna, even her highest character. Nothing she kept for herself, absolutely nothing. For a woman or a girl, the character is the topmost. Even that she sacrificed, everything. She's ever hungry for service of Sri Krishna. No amount of service of Krishna is enough for her. And I didn't add it here, but even when Krishna abandons her, even when Krishna, again, now these are a little bit more controversial words, so to say, even we can say when Krishna exploits her. I don't have a better word to use, but you know what I'm saying. Supposedly, apparently, when somebody else could feel I am being exploited, she doesn't feel that way at all. She is completely in love with Sri Krishna. She is known as Mahabhava Swarupini, which means that in whom service reaches its zenith. She is beyond all other chaste ladies that we know in Shastra. Sati, Savitri, Devahuti, Kunti, Draupadi, everyone. She is the triple S, not the triple S we call about, sacrifice, self-giving, self-surrendering. One of the acharyas has written, beyond the standards ever known to the world of scriptures. Scriptures cannot describe. This is what I was talking about. Scriptures have no words to describe the qualities and the superiority of Srimati Radharani. They just cannot. That is the position of Srimati Radharani. We can only imagine what it can be. It is indescribable. We can only describe it by what it is not, because it is so high. We have no words, we have no understanding of it. All we can say, it is not anything that we know about. It is higher than that. Okay. So for us, what is the learning? So all this is very, very inspiring, very sweet, and hopefully it kindled a little bit desire in your heart to make some progress in our bhakti. So the learning for us is, in this sequence, what is our position? Obviously, probably even off the charts, on the left-hand side, not the right, obviously. On this side of the chart, even below that. So how can we hope? So we should try to make progress. We should try to contemplate, introspect, realize our position, and make a very resolute determination to take serious steps towards gaining affection of Lord Krishna. There's a long way to go, as you can see. And how can we hope to be dear or get that affection? Many things, obviously, including everything that has been discussed in previous verses. Don't forget Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapya Vidya. Don't forget Tan Nama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu Smrityoh Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya. Finally, the third line, Tishthan Vraje Tad Anuragi Jana Anugami. That is what is also linked to this. Take shelter of Sri Radha Kunda. Tishthan Vraje. Which part of Vraja? Radha Kunda. Serve Sri Radha Kunda. Serve Radha Kunda. Go clean up the place. Go, go do something over there. Krishna will guide you. And serve the devotees over there, or may not be there, but who are in the mood of service to Radha Kunda. Serve them. And finally, like Srila Prabhupada wrote in the translation, if you remember, develop a strong desire to meditate on the Leelas of Lord Shree Krishna. I didn't put it here because that would be like kind of little heavy. I also don't have deep taste for it myself, but the Ashtakaliya Leela, the eightfold pastimes. The day is divided into 8 parts. And each part of the day has special pastimes that Lord Krishna enacts. They are known as the Ashtakaliya Leela. 8 kal means time, 8 time periods during the day. Pastimes, Leela. So Lord Krishna performs so many pastimes. So we must meditate on the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So develop that strong desire. Finally, this is the same verse, which is very, very famous, which we discussed last time also, that just as Srimati Radharani is most dear to Krishna, her bathing place Radha Kunda is also dear to him. Among all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the supermost and very, very dear to Lord Shree Krishna. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnu Stasyah Kundam Priyam Tatha sarva-bhūteṣu Saivaika Vishnor Atyanta Vallabha. So with that, we will end. And next time, so we didn't talk much about Radha Kunda today. We talked about the progress of the various levels, because Radha Kunda directly is the main topic of verse number 11. So that is the culmination. And next week, we don't have class. We do? Yes, no. We have? Okay, so next week, we will be completing Nectar of Instruction with a good discussion on Sri Radha Kunda. Another thing that I wanted to include, but as you know, as you can already see, we are over time, is the Raya Ramananda Samvad. There also there is a beautiful description of the levels of devotion of bhakti to Lord Sri Krishna. If there is time, I will cover it next time, a summary, like the Brihad Bhagavatamrta summary we covered, how Narada Muni goes from one place to another. Similarly, in the Raya Ramananda Samvad, the conversation between Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Raya. It's in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 8, where Lord Chaitanya keeps asking him, what's the next higher level of bhakti? What's the next higher level of bhakti? What's the next higher level of bhakti? And Ramananda Raya, who is a, pure devotee himself, keeps describing to Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya is relishing that from the mouth of his devotee. So that's a very, very beautiful description of the various levels of bhakti. Sometime we would go through it, maybe next time, but yeah, so we will cover it next time, but it will all be about Radha Kunda. For Bhakti Shastri, please, continue to do your homework, prepare for the test. Tentatively, I'm thinking the test could be on 23rd of August, but we will decide. I'm sure many of you would like it to be more later. Always there is need for more time to prepare. We'll see. And then we also need to discuss when to start Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion. So we will start that also. I'll do a WhatsApp. We can close on that on WhatsApp for the Bhakti Shastri group. Okay. Any comments or questions at this point?
So Prabhuji,
Ji. हाँ बोलिए.
Prabhuji, the word which was there in this verse number 10. Te vyasta pasupal pankaj sadish.
Ji.
So,
Pashupala
in
Pankaj
my
Drishas.
view, pankaj drisha, in my view, as per my understanding is that it is not gender bias, it is only for gopis, because Gopals were not that Pasupalak, they were Pasupalak and friend of Krishna, Lord Krishna. But Gopis were much devoted, as Uddhav is also became turned to, he was supposed to be a very jnani, but after meeting Gopis, he realized that bhakti is more than the jnana.
Yes, yes.
Bhakti is more than the jnana. So I think that it is not gender biased.
So you are talking about Pashupala Pankaj
Thank you.
Drishas. So you said that is generally the gopis who
Yes,
are taking care of the cows. The gopas also used to take care, as far as I know. Maybe the gopis were taking care more. I am not very sure.
Prabhuji, Pankaja Drishat, it is given. That
Yeah,
is
actually,
only the gopis will have Pankaja Drishat.
that
not
is
the
a good point, actually. That's a good point. But again, I am not a, maybe, these are very esoteric points, and I will consult with some senior devotees and get back. But Krishna is beyond gender. And for Krishna also we say, that his eyes are like his lotus-eyed. But anyway, that he's Krishna, he's not a Gopa. So that's a good point. Let me ask some senior devotees. Anything else? Anything, Prabhuji?
So much.
Yeah, that there is so much, absolutely.
There was one pastime I was remembering. You may know it, you can tell us so we can hear it. When,
You want to come here and
it's okay. The
Krishna had a headache.
Yes.
He needed the foot dust of a devotee to put on his head to get rid of the headache. You know this pastime?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we tell it, you know,
Okay, Balantai Prabhu is reminding me of a wonderful pastime, again colloquial. This is a famous colloquial pastime, not from any Shastra, and it is famous for that aspect. This is known as Atitiya Pramana. This is the example that is used, that Pramana, which comes from colloquial understanding. But anyway, Krishna was having a transcendental headache at one time. Again, Narada Muni wanted to understand who is the topmost devotee of Krishna. So he manifested a transcendental headache and he was like, "Oh, Narada Muni, I'm having such a big headache." Narada Muni says, "What can I do? I want the dust from the feet of my devotee. That's my medicine. That's my Tylenol. So please get me that medicine and I will be cured." So first thought was, no, I cannot give dust from I claim myself to be a devotee, but I'm not going to give the dust of my feet to you. So he goes to Brahmaji. He refuses, says, "What are you talking about? You want me to go to hell or something? My dust feet from my feet and going on Krishna's head? Sorry. You can go to Shivaji. He might give. He's detached from all this hell, heaven concept." Even Shivji declines. He says, "I'm not worried about hell or heaven, but this is just not the right etiquette. Krishna is manifesting only a transcendental headache. He is just, he can fix it himself. He doesn't need dust from my feet and I'm not going to give." Finally, he goes to the gopis. And the gopis say, "What? My Krishna is having a headache? How many bags of dust you want?" They rolled their feet in dust. They made a big puddle of dust and put their feet all over it and said, "Okay, now take everything. How many do you need more dust?" He says, "Wait a minute, are you really going to give this? What if you go to hell?" He says, "Who cares about hell? Next time when he has a headache, you can come to hell, we'll give you more dust. So you take the dust." So then Narada Muni understands who is the topmost devotee. Did I tell it okay, Prabhuji? So, yeah, so this is there is no Gyan, there is no concept of hierarchy, there is no any such understanding in the mind or heart of the gopis.
And talk about karmis, jnanis, and jnana and bhakti. I was thinking, like, where would we fall? You were saying Lord and Karmi. I think at least what we're trying is jnana mishra bhakti.
Yes.
Trying to do some bhakti for failing, but trying again. But with jnana, so that it helps us become.
Yeah, like it is said, Jnana definitely helps to make us into strong Madhyam devotees.
Then we can aspire to become Gyan Vimukh later. But at least to come to that, even some bhakti stage, Gyan really helps.
Yes.
Me personally.
Yeah, Gyan definitely helps. Absolutely. And Bhakti Gyan, you're not doing Nirvishesha Brahman Gyan, you're not reading all the impersonal literature, you're not reading the commentaries of Adi Shankaracharya on the various Vedanta sutras and all that. So we are not going in that direction. We are definitely going in the direction of Bhakti Gyan. And after that also there needs to be, you need a Gyan means book, isn't it? Textbook is Gyan, we call, right? It's synonymous. Definitely there will be textbook needed, like Srimad Bhagavatam, like Rasika commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam, where we can relish. So that will definitely continue for a very, very long time, till we go to complete Smarana Dasha. Smarana Dasha means that when we are completely simply just absorbed in remembering those pastimes, then we can get rid of the books. But the books, the Bhakti Shastra will be there even in the Jnana Vimukta Bhakti Paramaha stage. Bhakti Shastra will be there. Yeah, thank you. Yes, Mataji.
There is a good classic way of use of all scriptures and knowledge, whatever we have. The Bhagavad Gita is very far from what we take away.
it's definitely reflecting, but I find it's in the form of juice. Like summary, not summary is also wrong, but I think the juice only. And
Dalitam phalam.
the slide of Radharani, I loved it so much. Like I felt like the fruit which is right on a tree, which is not artificially, it's just, you can just enjoy that rasa. Like recently we got some cherries from, like, and then I was just like feeling that kind of emotion and like Radharani. So yeah, wonderful class and everything.
All credit goes to previous acharyas. I just read it and probably made it worse, but
that story was also so good. Like Narada Muni, very approached, and then Radharani related.
thank you. All glory to previous acharyas.
This is why we associate with the acharyas, because they're giving us this taste of something that we haven't attained yet, but that we want. Right? We hear these things like Srimati Radharani and devotees and all these things, and it awakens something in the heart. And because it's why we're here practicing, right? Lord Chaitanya came to give majority of us. That's why one of the reasons he appeared is to give that highest thing. Rupa Goswami was empowered to disseminate that, I think that's the right word, to give that knowledge. Why he wrote these things. This beautiful transition of this book is, where do we start, right? By controlling the tongue. And by doing all these things, we get
Next time.
we get these things. So this is what happens. We chant Harinam and we attain Srimati Radharani's service. Such an amazing benediction Mahaprabhu gave. And then the acharyas have just made sweeter by distributing it to lowly fallen souls.
Just a teaser for next time. Next time I will share based on commentary from one of the great acharyas. I'm not going to reveal the name. Next time I will reveal the name. And his explanation or his realization of the origin of Upadeśāmṛtam. Where did Upadeśāmṛta originate from? Not directly from the pen of Rupa Goswami. He, of course, wrote it down, but the origin was elsewhere. So I will share that with you. Or you can read all the possible commentaries that you find and you will get it. Or you can wait till next week. Very sweet. It will be. I found it very sweet. Okay, some devotees are messaging. Thank you. We have to leave and all. So yeah, it is late. So we will conclude here. Any other burning questions? Okay, thank you so much for your kind attention and for giving me a chance to say something on Sri Upadeśāmṛtam based on the mercy of my Gurujanas and previous acharyas. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
आप कहाँ इंडिया में हैं आशीष प्रभु?
हाँ प्रभु जी, दंडवत
दंडवत. ओके, ठीक है, हम बात करेंगे.
जी.
हरे कृष्णा.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.